All right. Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome into NFT Live on a Thursday, the last show of the week. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us at the end of your week here. We hope you are having a good one. I got gifted with possibly the coolest hat that I've ever seen him wear on this show. You should have busted that out when we had Fun Uncle yesterday. I don't know what you're doing there.
Dang, you're right. That would have been perfect. This is you like this? It's the new Zeho vac. I'm just showing off all my Zeho vac hats because she's got the dopest hats. Period. So I think I like it backwards though. But yeah, this would have been on point for Fun Uncle's cameo yesterday. You're right.
It would have been on
Next
point.
time.
Listen,
Next time.
if you did not tune in to yesterday's show, we were flying high on a lot of different things. So we had a fantastic time. Thank you guys for showing up for that one, and thank you for showing up today. Prodigy saying I get paid to watch this daily. Listen, I don't know who's paying you. I'm not. But I guess you're watching at work. That might make more sense. OVOT, my peeps, how's it hanging today? Hopefully no bird talk or blur talk today. Nice one. And Nox Darkness is in the house. Of course, Hash Rhymes was first. Guys, we have a fantastic episode today. I'm about to pull up the tweet real quick. If you guys could give it a like, give it a quick retweet, that would do wonders for us. But today we are touching on the all-important Yuga lab show. I mean, straight up heavy metal release. That's the thumbnail. We had another release, not just Legends of Morrow. We had heavy metal kind of come out and say, hey, here's kind of a little sneak peek of what you can be expecting. Blur is extending the airdrop, and Art Blocks launching an NFT marketplace. Gift that we have to get to rating these today. We can't. If we don't rate these today, it'll never get done.
We don't have a choice, but also we didn't get to talk really about the heavy metal stuff on GM Web3. There were so many other interesting conversations happening that we missed that. So I'm actually really excited to look at those with you, talk about them because they look freaking dope. And again, man, how do you not simp for Yuga at this point? Like they are. I mean, like even if your expectations are already like super high, it seems like they just keep doing amazing things. So I'm very excited to look more at these heavy metals with you, get your takes, see what all of y'all think in the chat. And excited to talk about everything with you, man.
I love it. Okay, so we have NFT Live, a tweet here up on the screen. I also dropped it in chat. If you guys want to give that a quick like, that'd be amazing. Evan Schindler is in the house. Wow, that is GIF. I don't even know if I've ever told you the man, the myth, the legend, Evan Schindler, who actually produced content on this network way back in the day, way back in the ICO alert days.
Oh my! Where's my soundboard?
Oh my God! Good to see you here in the house, Evan. And yes, I did finally get. I kept it for posterity's sake. Like I have the mic, like the $30 mic he gave me, and I did upgrade here to a Shure. So nice to see you, Evan. We are going to talk some Yuga Lab show. Ev, if you've been hitting on anything in NFTs, man, I'd love to hear what you're up to. Maybe we could bring it up on the show. And of course, even if you're not in like heavy in NFTs, man, you can, cut off my camera. But no, I was going to say you can hop on this show anytime, man. I'd love to see you. All right, this is what we're starting the show with today. We have a ban, or not a ban, but a slowdown, a little slowdown in the dangerous race that is AI development. Elon Musk and other tech leaders call for a pause on AI development, essentially saying we're moving too fast. Let's slow down. We don't want to get overtaken too quickly. A lot of different takes here, ranging from, yes, we need to do this. We had ChatGPT-4 already in the works, and other people on the other side of this are saying, hey, this is just a sophisticated Google search. That's all we're getting. So, pump the brakes on pumping the brakes. Yeah. So there's two sides to this. I'm interested to see what you guys are looking at as far as AI. I probably side on the take of continuing innovation here and not saying, hey, let's pump the brakes. Anytime I hear somebody say that, I wonder what their intentions are or kind of what incentives they have to maybe pump the brakes on what's being built. So interesting.
Yeah, because nobody could just actually be rooting for the welfare of all humanity and our planet. And, nobody could actually really be trying to do that. Like save the human race. Like that's not a real option here, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, just to be clear, this is not an actual like. There's no policy here. There's no. This is all. This is a letter by a bunch of big brains, bunch of people who are interested. Let's say that maybe invested in different ways in the future of AI and again humanity, because they're I think mostly humans, maybe some robots and some cyborgs already in the mix. We don't know. I am again part robot as we've discussed on the show. But they're just saying like, look, we're not prepared. This shit's moving too fast, and it's going to have cataclysmic, massive impacts on our global welfare and the future of where we go as a society. And so can we slow down a little bit to put in place better policies, better structures, and just be better prepared for what's coming, because
Yeah.
it is moving scarily fast. And I saw Punk 6529, like he was tweeting like I think more on that side of like, oh, it's just like an advanced Google search. You know, he was kind of like, can somebody explain to me the doom and gloom side of Chat GPT?
Yes.
I don't see how this kills humans. I don't see it. And my response to that was like, yeah, what he said was like, can somebody show me how GPT-4 kills all humans? I don't see it. My response to that was like, it's Chat GPT 6.9 that you need to worry about. It's
Wow,
a joke.
hold
Also,
on.
it's the rate of the innovation moving faster than we can to keep up with it. Right? That's what you have to worry about. It's not Chat GPT 4. It's the fact that Chat GPT 5 and 6 are literally right around the corner. And the rate that this shit is moving is so far outpacing our ability to like keep up with it. You know what I mean? So it's not here right now. We're trying to think ahead a little bit. So I kind of thought that was a dumb tweet. I'm not going to lie. As much as I love Punk 6529, it's kind of missing the point. The point is like, hey, dude, just think ahead a little bit about what's happening, what's around the corner that we can't see.
I think the question is, we maybe see around the corner, but does that mean that we put a pause on what we're doing now? Which I'm going to go back into the article because there are like short term implications. I think you brought up the upcoming election, for example, on deepfake videos, and I think they wrote in this article, contemporary AI systems are now becoming human competitive at general tasks, and we must ask ourselves, should we let machines flood our information channels with propaganda and untruth? And I mean, we're about to see it play out here in this election cycle, so we will see, that in real time. But that has been one of your main concerns about AI is all of these videos that are going to, and you see that now. Like I think we brought it up on the morning show this morning of Trump getting arrested, of Joe Biden getting arrested. How do we combat this? And that opens up a complexity of rabbit holes as well that we don't want to go down too far early in this episode. But Evan Schindler as well saying, haven't been messing with NFTs too much, aping hard into ARB though. There's a little old book called Genesis Tower of Babel. Good read. Which book is that? Who wrote that? Who wrote that? So what else is going on, man? How was that GM Web3 morning show? Oh, you're muted, sir.
Well, the show was great first, but I'm curious if that book, The Tower of Babel, is where Sarah Script got the Babel theory or Babel hypothesis, which is an interesting thing that she's been talking about. I did just share in the chat the tweet from Raoul Pal, who is thinking a lot about how Web3 and specifically zero knowledge proofs are a potential tech solution to help with our digital identities and verifying a lot of the information online. But like, we need people to act, especially the big Web2 companies that can scale this technology very quickly before this gets out of hand. So I love what he's been saying, and he's been talking about this on YouTube and stuff. He says, this is why we need zero knowledge proof digital ID at scale, adopted or built by major Web2 players urgently. We need Web2 leaders to do this, as no one else can scale this fast enough. When AI text to video comes in the next few months, it's a potential societal breaker. This is already happening. So literally, like Animate Dead was just posting yesterday, he's already experimenting with text to video, AI generated crazy art and shit. It's like the rate of this innovation and what it's going to create is it does break your brain almost.
Yeah.
Like what we're about to see has never been experienced, and like through most of humanity until the last couple decades, like tech has kind of been at a slow scale, and then you get a quick jump, and it's like innovating, and it's like a slow jump. And then in the last couple decades, since the invention of like the computer chip and all these and personal computers, and then mobile devices and the internet, it's just been this upwards hockey stick. And the rate of change and innovation now is exponential. It's just insane. How do we keep up with that? So to your question, or to your point, Q, you don't think that pausing development is necessarily the answer? To me, it's like we should, in my opinion, do one of two things. Either find a way to sort of like maybe not pause, but like slow down certain aspects of development for a specific period of time while things are being done. Or if that's not the solution, which again might not be, then we need to drastically speed up how we are regulating or policy making. Or to me, the way I'm thinking about it is like the way that our government works right now. Like we have a certain operating system in the US, like the way that we're set up, the way that we work, the way that things have to go through certain checks and balances, all this type of stuff. We have an operating system that we work under. It's badly outdated. It is moving way too slow. Most of our politicians are way too old. It's just, it needs to be updated, and like radically updated. Like we need to jump to the next version of, the Windows OS or the Apple OS, Mac OS, whatever that next version of our operating system is, to bring in more of the technology side of things, how we're understanding that, talking about it, and then moving quickly in parallel to get ahead of these things. Because if we don't do that, then like what Raul Powell is saying, I agree with. I think we're getting to the point where like this shit can go really, it can scale so fast. Like it can go wrong really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, glass half full, glass half, empty approach, right? Where you can say, "Hey, this looks like it's going to be very dangerous in the short and long term, but also really, really awesome in the short and long term." Like already the cool things that we've seen ChatGPT 3 and 4 be able to do from an art perspective, from be able to, I mean, I've seen some things on the communication front where like it's almost as good or better than a human translator. Whereas before you would just kind of type into Google, like, hey, what does this mean? It takes it to a whole nother level. So there's all these different advancements that are really interesting, but then you have the other side of it. Reputation being probably the most, I think, like at the forefront conversation, right? Because when you get to a point where AI can essentially generate all of these different images, different videos, make people, think a certain way based on stuff that's not real, what then becomes the most important thing? Well, trusted, reputable sources. That, and how do we get there? We're talking about zero knowledge proofs. We're talking about reputations for wallets, reputation scores, and all these different things. But then it opens up a whole nother can of worms. We talked about the China effect of reputation scores and all these different things. But you can see, guys, we are having ourselves a great start to this episode. We just pressed live like 5-10 minutes ago. So we appreciate you joining here early, especially Ev. Also, he's saying CZ wrote the book of Genesis in the letter to the degenerates. I think I remember that book. I remember reading about it in prayer school, in Bible study. So I am definitely looking forward to rereading that. Thank you for bringing that up. GPT-9 systems is a significant distance from now. All media can no longer be trusted. That gets to the root of the issue, at least on the short-term basis. Like, it's cool to see ChatGPT create all of this art and be, although this sucks for people who are getting displaced in their workforce related to AI, but what feels like the most acute symptom or event that's going to happen here is misinformation by AI. That's what feels acute. That's going to affect us right now.
Yeah, because it's the impact can be almost immediate. The way that these algorithms run with negative or incorrect, misinformation is scary. Because again, this doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's in, it's not just AI. It's AI plus social media, plus human behavior, plus algorithms, plus everything else that goes into this. So yeah, it's going to be crazy. I hope we can get a better handle on it, because otherwise it's just going to be like the idea that no media and no institution can be trusted is new, and it's not good. How do you run a society like that? This is why we're seeing like the sort of breakdowns and deteriorations that we are in a lot of our infrastructure, or the beliefs or the values. It's like you can't run a society where there's no truth. Like you have to be able to rely on something. You know what I mean? Like there has to be something that you can point to and be like, okay, now we build from here. You know what I mean? Like you have to, like you can't just have complete anarchy and everybody has their own fucking truth and everybody's making up their own bullshit and saying that that's no, like you can, sure, but like
that's where
but
we're
you
at
can't
almost.
but you can't run a society that way. That's the point. You deteriorate into probably a really scary situation pretty quickly. And so I feel like we've been seeing some of that and experiencing some of that. How far do we want to go down that path, though?
Okay.
So
I do. So we're gonna get to Gifted has had a long and storied history of buying live mints on this program, and a lot of them have done pretty well. I will say so. We know there's some outsized performers, cock punch, that have not done well, but overall, I think you're very much like up on a lot of the hits that you have. So we had Kim Asendorf as well as which one are we looking for? So I've got the Kim Asendorf one, but we also have what was the other one that I'm missing? Was it on? What was the other one that you got yesterday?
I didn't pick anything up yesterday other than Kim Asendorf, but Gabe Weiss is minting right now as of this morning. But yeah, this one is already aged very well. It actually popped over 0.6. It was up at like 0.65 for a minute, and it's holding just below 0.6 already. Again, I bought in these yesterday, 24 hours ago during the show at around 0.3. So already a 2x so far on this. Yeah, this one is looking like a pretty solid move. And again, I love the art. The art's freaking dope. Like I love the artist. I love the art. These are art blocks. So I feel very, very good about it. And the fact that, it's already got over 270 whatever ETH on the secondary, almost 280 ETH, and it's moving. And there's only 1,000 of them. Like shout out Kim again, massive congrats. And Gabe Gabe is right now on the front page of OpenSea. If we want to touch on that briefly. And there was already over 1,200 minted, and that's an open edition going for the next 2 days.
Guys, he's not lying. Gifted has a lot of integrity here. He's not lying about Friends by Gabe Weiss being directly on the homepage for OpenSea. My one question before we move to this is, are you planning, did you buy multiples of the Kim Asendorf, or did you just buy one? You got two.
I got two.
So okay, you're 2x. Are you selling the first one? Are you taking good financial principles, or are you going heavy degen here?
No, heavy degen, and I might regret that one. But here's the thing: this is one of those that I think ages particularly well. This to me is the type of thing that even in a bear market, like could 5 to 10x from where I got it, because again, it's only 1,000. It's an art blocks project. It's the first Kim Asendorf art blocks. And Kim is one of these artists that has a track record of success, like has been building, has innovated in a specific art movement, and is a leader in generative art, which I have been theorizing is going to be taking off to a whole new level this year. So all of this is my thesis on why, because you're right. The smart thing to do would be sell one of them, flip, take a 2x. Basically, I'd be even. I would have my money back out, and I'd still have one to ride. That would be actually the smart thing for me to do right now. I acknowledge that.
What? Maybe we should start a poll. I'm going to start a poll here.
This is a good poll. Should I flip one, or should I hodl them both and go full degen?
All right. Give me 2 seconds. I will start that poll. Folks, we have a lot to get to today. Blur extended their airdrop as well. We talked a little bit about that on the GM Web3 morning show as earlier this morning. So we got a bunch to get to. Art Blocks launched its own NFT marketplace that was favorable to art collectors and artists. So that is one thing that I think we predicted in the whole royalties scandal and fiasco that happened last year, that there would be marketplaces that spring up that are specifically to curate either collectors and artists that want to honor royalties. That's exactly what's happened, and that's essentially what Blur's done on their side with traders. They're curating a community of traders.
I like the way that you said traders there, because it sounds like traders. People that have abandoned the original ethos of Web3 and decentralized sovereignty.
We have been creating both of our networks for a long time, and so for the past 2 years, I've been doing NFT lives. You've been doing the GM Web3 morning show for probably around that same time, at least on Clubhouse. And so within that, there have been people that have fostered around ideas that we both hold. So while I won't get up on stage in GM Web3 and really pound the table on NFT Live, I do have to feel like I have to say this. Like the reason why I'm here in the NFT space is because of the convergence of everyone. And so there's these really cool interactions between gamers and artists and photographers and developers and collectors and traders. But what feels like the most contentious relationship in all of NFTs is between collectors and traders. And what I didn't want to get up on stage again and like get up on my pulpit and say is like, this space was originally for traders. Like the same way that a lot of people in the Web3 community feel like, hey, they're coming in here and stealing our ideals. The traders feel that way about the collectors. And so like before there were NFTs, there were shitcoins. And now NFTs come in and we amazingly have produced all of this awesome culture. But to feel like, this is bastardizing. Well, the foundations of this space were trading. They came from the banking sector. It was basically like, this is happening in banking, so we need to create an alternative to the banking system. That is the foundation of the blockchain. And it's been primarily financial. So that's my only pulpit take. I do feel like both sides feel like you're bastardizing or changing what this space was about. But it's fucking
cool. I like the take that it's really the space is for everybody. And so what's interesting and exciting about Art Blocks is they are coming up with a new model and a technological solution to a problem that they're seeing. And they're saying, hey, yeah, we understand there's a tension here. There's an issue. There's a misalignment of certain things happening. Here's a new option, right? Let's create another option for those that do feel more strongly about supporting creators and enforcing royalties. And this is great. I love it because of that point. They're not, nobody's demonizing anybody. Nobody's getting angry. They're just saying, all right, so here's our response. Here's what we're going to try and do to adjust to this reality of how it's going. And here's our ethos is more creator friendly, as they're calling it. So quote unquote, this is a more creator friendly marketplace that does enforce royalties. And then it's also more collector friendly because it does not enforce or it does not have any sort of marketplace fee. So I love this. This is great. I find this to be a win-win for both collectors and artists and traders to an extent, right? Also, because you pay less of a fee and you still get to support artists and sleep better at night, I hope. Although some people definitely don't care. But that idea of if you want to find some kind of in between where you're still supporting the artists that create the art that you're collecting and trading, but pay a less fee, there you go.
God damn it. Thursday's mute button kills me, man. But I love that take, man. We'll touch on the Art Blocks NFT Marketplace here in just a second. Magic Eden actually opened up their marketplace on Ethereum as well. So we'll touch on some marketplace talk. I do have that poll live, folks. So if you are here in YouTube, which I want to give a quick shout out to those that are not. If you're on Twitch, if you're on Twitter, if you're listening to us afterwards on Spotify, we appreciate you guys so much, OVOT there. But the poll on YouTube says, should Gifted sell his cargo by Kim Asendorf? And right now, and we just pressed live, so this could just be one person. So that is 75% yes, Gifted. So unfortunately, I'm going to close the poll now, and you actually, okay, it's fluctuating rapidly. We'll see if Gifted has to sell.
I did not. This is not an Elon Musk Twitter poll where I've agreed to whatever people say and doing. I did not agree to that.
Okay, hey, quick. I want to jump back into wrapping up that AI discussion, but you do have Gabe Weiss live now. The mint price is it stagnant here at 0.01? Is that
yes? It's an open edition. It's affordable. It's around $35, and it's open for just 2 days. And there, I think it's a single piece of art with a bunch of different variations. So each one, I believe, is a one of one, but it's primarily the different colorways that are changing. So I think the piece of art is a single painting, but then he's like generated a whole ton of different colorways and color palettes for it. So I believe every single one that is minted is going to be a unique one of one version of this edition.
So Left Action House, great question here. What is more important to you, the price of the art or the art itself? So here's my thing. Like, this is why the NFT space is so fucking cool, because you can do both. Like, you can collect art that you want to flip, and you can also really just collect people that you really like or art that you really vibe with. Like, you can do both. This idea that we're binary is interesting to me, and that's what I've always pushed up against, is like, it doesn't have to be yes or no. It doesn't have to be this or that. It's more of a live and let live, and hopefully the free market decides. But GIF, what is more important to you, the price of the art or the art? I feel like
this is a really
call. Isn't that an easy question though?
It's a really interesting question, actually. GM Quantum Variant. First and foremost, before I try and answer, and while I buy time to try and think of an answer, this is not financial advice, and information was found publicly on the internet, which is where we are right now. Opinions shared on this episode are solely of the Web3 team, and all info is public domain. So please DYOR or do your own research. To me, I think that where I'm at in my life, dude, that's a really hard question, because I even just looking around my apartment, like, I'm surrounded by art that I love that much of it is worthless or not worth that much. You know what I mean? And so the art really matters. But I think if you get to a certain level, because I'm not like independently wealthy, I'm not like independently fabulously rich yet. If you get to a certain level, then the price definitely matters. Yeah. Like right now, like let me give a specific example. I guess my answer is nuanced, and it's like case by case basis is what I'm saying. There's a lot of things that I collect regardless of the price, and it doesn't matter just because I love it. But my Bored Ape, the price actually matters more than the art for my Bored Ape. You know what I mean? Like, the art's fine. I animal that lives at the Nifty Castle. We got a whole storyline behind him. We built out some lore for him. We created a bunch of derivatives. We love Yez. I freaking love him. He's dope. He looks cool. But like, the fact that is an asset that is worth a significant amount of value and also utility is much more important to me right now where I'm at in my life because of the amount that's invested in that. So I think it's case by case.
Yeah. And I would agree. Like, this is the whole thing that Blur highlighted, right? Was that some NFTs are literally just shitcoins with pictures, meaning they trade more like, and this is not financial advice. This is not any indication that NFTs are stocks or some type of equity investment, but some NFTs do operate that way. Again, most people didn't buy, like, Yuga Labs didn't have this like history as an artist, like group or like syndicate. They had probably more history as businessmen and all of these different things than artists. So, but that's the thing that Blur really highlighted, was that it's not about the art. If it was, these Bored Apes would not have the price floors that they have. They literally are all across the board the same. It, like, before Blur, there was definitely like more what's the word I'm looking for? Disparity based on some of the art. But right now, it's clearly showing that most of them, like Bored Apes, maybe even CryptoPunks, which I don't think should fall in that category, but do in this example, that most NFTs are shitcoins with pictures. And, art focused NFTs are art focused. But there was this idea that PFPs were art. And I think that is not exactly the case. I think that's a story we like to tell ourselves.
Most PFPs are not good art or don't matter as art. There are some that are. Actually, since we're talking about Gabe, the Stoics are pretty cool art, and that was a little bit more art focused and artist focused. But anyway, I don't really want to go back into the Blur thing right now. The TLDR because again, it's like it's convoluted because they brought in all these incentives that change the dynamic, and so it's like they've kind of thrown out a lot of the other things that do matter. It's just like, do they matter? Like, how much do they matter is kind of, to me, more what it is. Especially during a bear market where you've created certain incentives. But anyway, I really don't want to go further down that rabbit hole because we've talked it to death. We did have a great conversation about Blur with Joey Vowles. Shout out Joey Vowles, new friend who came on Web3 this morning. Hope to have him back more because he's got lots of great takes. But the TLDR on Blur right now is that they're extending the airdrop forever. Indefinitely.
Which is what was going to happen anyways. For those of you that have been tuning into this channel for a long time, I think we even talked about that, about them and essentially one, like the actual distribution schedule has the airdrop going on to 2027. So it's not like it was like, oh my God, it's 2023. What are we going to do? It's the same thing with ape staking, by the way. Like I think ape staking goes on for 2 to 3 years. What's likely going to happen is that same thing. They're going to somehow figure out a way to incentivize further staking down the line. But that comes through a governance vote in 2025 or something like that. So, yeah.
Well said.
Okay. GIF, look, let's just eat the elephant here one by one, and let's just finish this bad boy here. We have the top 10 biggest flops in NFT history. We've got him on the board. So unless anyone has anything ridiculous to add to this, like we totally missed on this top 10 biggest flops, we have to rank these 1 to 10. Gonna be
right
tough.
Right now. We're not even gonna wait till the end.
Nope.
We're just gonna do it
now.
All right.
We're doing it live.
This is a change. We're doing it mid episode. All right. And to Quantum Variant, you missed yesterday's show, but literally I was sitting here on NFT Live, picking them up on, actually went through quite a journey, discovering some new AVAX and then converting it. But I picked up 2 Kim Asendorf cargoes yesterday during NFT Live around 0.3. And feeling great about that. We literally just had a poll about whether or not I should go ahead and flip. Yeah, we have a poll up right now, Quantum Variant. Should I take the 2x, get out of one, basically break even and let one ride? Or should I just go full degen and just hodl both of them? I'm currently right now planning to just hodl both because I think that they're going to age very well.
Okay, I do have to get to these flops. We're getting some comments coming through, but yeah, GIF did win on those Kim Asendorfs. Is it about the art or the price, GIF, on Kim Asendorf, case by case? So
it is about the art first and foremost with these. That's why I bought them, to support the artist and because I love the art. And I would probably hold on to one of them for a long time, no matter what. But again, at a certain point.
Wait,
at a certain
4X?
Point. No, not yet. Well, I think from the mint, I got it at 0.3. For me, it's a 2x right now.
Okay.
So if he's talking about mint, then yeah, it's probably getting close to like a 3 or 4x. At a certain point, if it gets so high and you need the liquidity in your life, then it becomes about the money. Because I think the interesting thing about the question too is that the answer changes with your current circumstances.
That's fair. Look, Omar saying hodl one, flip one. Listen, that might be my biggest non-negotiable rule in NFTs that I've learned throughout my entire time in the history of being in Web3 and blockchain is whatever you're buying. If it's again like that there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for there, like first world. Figure it out for me, GIF. It's like first world douchiness to say hey, you have to buy 2. Make sure you buy 2 of these really expensive items that are somehow valued at this price. But if you can, I would say that's what you want to do. Otherwise, I have to get to some of this chat. But if you got a take there, let me know. Gabe's, go ahead.
Well, yeah, it's like a wealthy person's perspective, like a
It's like a
rich person,
mindset.
a
Yeah.
rich person rule of thumb. Always make sure you get at least two of anything.
Yeah. So yeah, we're being those douches here on the channel early. Gables, what a take here. I thought originally this was like a really legitimate quote, and then I just put it up on screen, unfortunately. So Gabe is saying, it's like I always say, buy a man, eat fish, he day. Teach fish, man, to a lifetime. So really one of the greatest quotes that have ever hit the airwaves. Sam Murphy saying, what's up with these heavy metals? We are going to touch on heavy metals. That is like the major topic that we have. But if you haven't tuned in to NFT Live, we spend this amount of time getting to the actual topic and this amount of time on the main topic. So
hey, you can't say we're not efficient. Can't
True.
say we're not efficient, gang.
Yeah. Well, Jacob would say otherwise. Prodigy's saying, gotta be the price, because I've seen $3 art from my high school that I think looked better than Star Knight or whatever, and it's worth millions. Like, price judges whether I buy or not, but if you were to tell me I could have a Mona Lisa for $10 and then I can sell for 20 mil, yeah, I'm gonna ape into it for $10 for the chance. So I see it. I see what you guys are doing there. Also, a lot of comments here on rate my flops. I see a lot of others. Asmodee, you're coming through as well, but let's see. Squashman is saying Pixelmon and Coinbase NFT and S tier. Evan is saying, didn't Porsche or some car company do one that was awful? They're telling everyone is saying to sell your Kim Asendorf, and Steppen and Axie are good flips. Let's see. Asmodee saying Porsche drop was initially bad until they announced burn unsold NFTs, minted out two to three. Two-thirds, I think, didn't follow to see more. That was one of the most interesting drops that happened in like early January, I believe. Maybe I'm getting my timelines wrong. Maybe it was a December drop, but the ability for them to not die because they just cut the supply and said
Porsche.
Yeah, Porsche. Did I say something else?
Oh no, sorry. We were hitting on a couple different things, and I just want to make sure.
Yeah, the Porsche drop that Asmodee is mentioning. The fact that they actually saw a legitimate increase in their floor price, although again you have to wonder how much of that is bought up by market makers and things like this. The fact that they just cut supply and are still around is huge. But I don't think it can make the top 10 list just based on it, there not being a ton of expectation. Game of Thrones could probably... It was just... The Game of Thrones one was just much more of a meme.
I do think Porsche... I don't know if it's top 10, but like if I do think if we were just like rating my flops, even like top 20 or something, we could throw it on there. So I like... Because to me that did have like... It's Porsche. There's some pretty high expectations. It might not have been as big as some. And then it had kind of like a moment where it's like the mint hit. It was way too expensive and it just didn't sell. And that was kind of like, oof, you know what I mean? It just kind of like had that flop moment. So I feel like it counts as a big flop. I just don't know if it's top 10.
Okay, so if we ever make a top 20 list, Porsche, you will be on it. All right, so we are going to get to this list. Let's do this relatively quickly. We spent a ton of time curating this list. No one has really mentioned, other than Mike is saying Axie and Steppen potentially could potentially make this list. I'm putting Coinbase at the absolute top here. I do think based on, I mean, they had the Super Bowl ad, they had all this expectation. I know that there were a lot of features as to why they were not successful. The timing in the market couldn't have been worse, but that was my number one flop. I'll debate it with you if you think there's a bigger one. Is there a bigger flop?
I agree that was a massive flop. Again, it's kind of weird to throw a marketplace in with NFTs, but it is NFT related because it's Coinbase NFT, and it was a massive flop. So like I'm okay including that there. I think the only other thing that I'd say you have to put it up at S tier alongside it is Super Yetis. I mean, we all know Super Yetis belongs on every list, but this is really the list that's made. This is the list that is made for Super Yetis. Super Yetis was like one of the original belly flops. Like it was so hyped. It sold out. It raised so much money so fast. Everybody was amped up because it was such an early new PFP when like the market was just starting to take off, and boom. Everybody bought into Yetis. Everybody and their mom was there. There was on Clubhouse, everybody's freaking out, loving the Yetis.
What?
They're the next greatest thing. Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah,
Okay.
Yetis were huge.
Okay.
They got hyped up so it was a rocket going like this, and then it just sputtered, and then just crashed.
Give me that sputter. Give me that sputter one more time.
It just was like, and then like people just realized after they sold out and raised all this money that the team had promised a game and a bunch of shit that they had no idea how to execute on.
They were the OG PFP collection that offered a game. Like that was like peak metaverse game time frame where you threw that on the roadmap and you were selling out or you were getting interest. Okay, I'll take Yetis up there. I will also add probably the only other one that can make it up here, although Mechaverse was kind of a crazy time. Mechaverse was on the Yetis like level, in my opinion, with how hyped everybody was. The reveal went like shit, I believe. There were a lot of things that went wrong. But I will put Pixelmon up here. I'd say Pixelmon, just based on like the amount raised to the amount delivered.
Well, and also the actual like the flop itself, the smacking into the water face first of like that Kevin image and the immediacy of Kevin becoming one of the most epic memes of all of NFT and like Web3 culture. That is literally a flop. It was like the expectation was up here, and man, Kevin is just he's down here. Poor Kevin.
Okay, Squash and Quantum are saying that Yetis had the expectation, to your point, of being the next BAYC. They're really. I guess I like PTSD blocked this out of my mind, but Squash is saying they were the next apes. Literally, I was literally a week or so later, right? And was the first PFP 3D project people were hyped on. That Clubhouse room was so sad when they started finding out making a game is very involved. And Quantum saying everyone thought Yetis were the next BA. Wow. I forgot that. Squash is also putting up a fight against Batum Squad being on this list at all, or at least being the lowest possible.
I disagree. Well, it definitely deserves to be on here, in my opinion.
Yeah, Nox is bringing up a good point, and I think either Nox or somebody else was talking about Wax potentially being on this list and Wax project. I would 100,000,000% agree. There are projects on Wax that completely on the level of like at the time Street Fighter drop was like something epic, and I know for a fact like if I go into my wallet, those Street Fighter NFTs are probably worth nothing, and they were worth a lot at the time. There was a lot of speculation going on. Okay, so we've got our, I think this is it for the S tier. I could make a case for an Art Gobblers or a Mechaverse maybe, but I don't think anybody else.
I put those at A though. I think that's a solid place to start with A.
Okay, so let's go first in the A tier. What do we think? Oh my, and Ev, I do remember Loot. I thought Loot could make this list as well. I thought based on like the amount of expectation, it was very much like a DeFi.
What's the flop moment? What is the moment with Loot though that it all turned? Like I felt that was just kind of like a loss of interest, you know, like a slow sort of.
It was relatively fast, but it's had a slow burn since then, if that makes sense. Here, I'll even pull it up. Let's go to the Loot price chart and see how fast this actually was. Okay, so we may add Loot here. I also am going to close out GiftDead's poll on whether he, and this is official. If it says yes, he's selling it. No, I'm just kidding. But it should GiftDead get out at a 2x. He still has another one. Should he be prudent and do that? We'll see what the community says. What is the top of the next tier? What is the top of the A tier? Oh my God, Arabian Camels. Great shout out, Cam.
Yeah, wow. I think
we just hate Gobblers, don't we? We like want
our Gobblers was really hyped up, super high, and then I feel like crashed pretty hard. I think our Gobblers could be up there. Honestly, I think Frenzies deserves to be an A tier.
And that Mecca one at 1? Can we put Mecca at 1?
Yeah, Mecca was a big moment. That got super hyped. It got super hyped. And I feel like that definitely had sort of like a crash. I feel like it had a moment where it just kind of was like, crash, you know, like that belly flop.
I still want to put up my fight for the other D's launch being a significant flop because of the contagion it led to. We like the space lost so much money in that moment that it like had all of these contagion effects later on. So I think it
Kind of flopped the whole market.
Yeah, it did. Like I could honestly say, other than maybe a mecha. I mean, art gobblers. People spend a fuck ton on art gobblers, but like none of these really like had the effect the other deeds mint had on the market. It was just sucked out immediately in one go.
Yeah, I don't know. We could throw it on here since we do have Coinbase, so we've kind of gone outside of like the norm, and I feel like that's a little bit outside of like just a normal project doing bad, because the project's done great. It's just the effect of it.
Yeah, people are gonna
was not great.
The
camel combo is hilarious. Yeah, I don't think that qualifies as a flop. It was just like people trying to jump on the BAYC bandwagon, and it didn't go well. But who the heck thought camels were gonna do well? Squash Man over here saying he thought camels were gonna kill it. Dude, the art is trash. It's also mildly offensive.
Well,
dude,
yeah,
the camels,
I'll take you on that.
The Arabian camels art. You're gonna tell me that's great art? Says the guy who like thought the guy that thought Will Peckers was gonna take off and moon. You're gonna try and tell me Arabian camels?
Like apes.
Dude, they're horrible and mildly offensive. They're not good. I'm sorry. They're one of the worst Bored Ape derivatives in my opinion.
This is kind of offensive.
Yeah.
Wait, the camels made a movie. They can't be a rug if they made a movie.
Well, they're not. We're talking about flops either way. I don't think they had a big moment where they flopped. I just think that they weren't good and didn't take off. And there's people that thought they would.
Here's one that didn't make the list. I don't want to add, but that was also mildly offensive. Was the Hezbollah drop? Someone brought up yesterday. Should be on this list. A couple of those Hezbollahs.
Have they flopped though? Like, was there a moment that they flopped, or are they just like offensive?
All right. I'm gonna look at this on what was the one? X Loot, right? Or Loot?
Loot.
I just want to make sure I can pull up Loot. All right, keep me on track, because we are almost at an hour in the fucking episode. Jesus.
Yeah. So I think we throw Art Gobblers and Frenzies up in A.
Art Gobblers was almost. I don't even want to call it sadistic. It feels like too hard of a word, but whatever is below the word sadistic for Art Gobblers to get that high that fast. That was bad. That was bad. Well coordinated.
Sure. Yeah, and then I mean, other deeds would either go here and B. I mean, because B, it wasn't really like it wasn't like a normal flop. It's kind of like an understated flop. It just had this really negative impact on the whole market. So maybe throw that in B, but I don't know. I guess you could make an argument that it's an A too, just because of the scale of the impact.
I think the scale. Here, we'll leave it up to the community, B or A. All right, let me pull some things up here. So I have Loot for adventurers. Ev brought up the fact that Loot can potentially be. Let's go all. Let's see how fast this thing plummeted and went. Usually all takes forever, by the way. So we might be here.
It's a lot of data. It's all the data.
It's all the data.
I mean, that doesn't look that scary.
Wait,
that doesn't look like a flop.
Oh. Okay. There was one outsized 500 ETH sale, so we're gonna get out of there.
What?
No, we're getting out of there.
Ooh.
Okay, so at its peak,
no,
it looks like it had two peaks. But at its peak, god damn it!
Do not tell me somebody spent 500 ETH.
We all know what that probably was. All right, so it crashed. Oh, god damn it, man. Average price was like 12 to 15 ETH. It looks like it was like in the 10 ETH range. It's now trading at 0.5. And that happened it happened over the course of like a month. It looks like the dip was over a month. I thought the Loot one was pretty fucked up. I'm not going to lie. That seemed pretty... Everyone was so hyped on it. There were a lot of influencers pushing it. And what have you. So, all right, guys, we have to finish this one up and move on to the next topic. The Quantum saying the Cam is saying I made 1 ETH on a rare camel. So shout out to Cam. I gotta love those bull market days. You can just flip anything. Let's see. Squashman said I definitely thought camels would do well. I like the Master Buzz back in the early days. What's Master Buzz? We're getting a lot of them. Okay. let's go. Okay, other deeds I'll put on a poll. Do you have any? So should Bat and Bomb Squad be at the lowest part of this list? Is that what we're saying?
I think
Scale
it's
wise,
maybe. I'd put it at C myself. I don't know. Dude. I was pretty hyped, and this is a big deal. Like Atom Bomb Squad is pretty high profile, and this was a big moment. And I feel like it flopped pretty hard. So I would at least put it at C. I don't know that it goes all the way at the bottom.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Acutars definitely deserves to be at least at A. At least that was a serious flop. Like that one hurt. I remember people just being in shock.
I'll put Jeevils here at B.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't even know about Hape. I don't know.
I feel like G-Vols actually goes at C or D, but
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's probably in that zone.
Fame Lady Squad.
I put that at B. That's a solid B.
Okay, it's coming together. Let's come
maybe
together.
Maybe with what like Lord of yeah, sorry. Game of Thrones could either go at B or C.
I know that it launched not in the hype of the bull market and all this stuff. This was a really, 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 really bad reveal. This might have been the.
It was a serious flop.
Like
flop. Yeah.
Like it probably will be looked on as one of the worst reveals of all time. Like it's literally Pixelmon, Kevin, and Game of Thrones. Name me a worse reveal.
Well, Batum Bomb Squad.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the other one.
Okay. I will say at scale, I don't think the Game of Thrones thing was that big a deal.
Yeah, it's B or C.
You know what also was a rug that didn't make this list? Probably the Matrix NFTs. But
we're not talking about rugs. We're talking about flops. We gotta we gotta be careful about how we're talking about this stuff.
Flop. I'm gonna put other deeds in A just to get the conversation moving on to the next topic. Other deeds moment, the amount of money, the sheer amount of money lost in this belly flop was astounding. I don't really have a take on Hate Prime.
Sorry, yeah, I didn't get in on that one either. Cock Punch was pretty bad. Sarah Script, shout out Sarah. We love seeing you in the chat here. Yeah, we thought about Cock Punch. I thought it was a little bit too early to call them a flop because I think it's just still not. It's not doing great right now. The market sucks. I think he's trying to build, and we'll see where it goes. So I don't know. There's like Stoner Cats. Yeah, I mean that's an interesting one because again, there was like blazed cats that were like fucking with them and fudding them and shit and like, and I don't actually remember like how hard that flopped. I do think that there was a flop moment there, but I don't remember exactly how big of a deal. But it was pretty high profile because it's Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, it was.
So it was pretty high profile.
In the mint price was like so astronomical. I forgot what it was.
Oh, was it?
I'm gonna.
Okay, so you know what? Stoner Cats might deserve to be here because they have come up a couple times, and that was pretty high profile. And I do believe it had a flop moment.
Yeah, the chart doesn't look great.
Well, dude,
it was like a.
We gotta be fair. We gotta be fair about where we're at right now because, like, dude, you can literally pull up almost every project on OpenSea, and like right now the charts look like this.
Yeah.
Almost every single one.
Yeah, I'd say that. This was just a high profile one, I would say. But yeah, I would agree with that. You gotta, don't look at it with rose-colored glasses. We're in the turd-colored glasses stage.
I love that saying, by the way. Yeah, when you're in a bear market like we are now, everybody's looking at the world through turd-colored glasses.
Okay.
I think that's Donar. Shout out Donar.
Okay, I am closing the gift selling the Kim Asendorf poll. Again, he has 2, and he said he just wants to go full degen. We're about to close it. Let's see what's going on. 66% say that you should sell. So that's a strong majority. I think you should take that into account. You should take that into account. We'll see.
I will. I'm gonna be sleeping on it.
All right,
for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the final edition as it stands today, or at least the final of the first edition that we have on the biggest flops in NFT history. At the top, you can see Coinbase NFT, Super Yeti, and Pixelmon. We got Mechaverse, Art Gobblers, Frenzies, Akutars, and the Other Deeds, specifically the Other Deeds Mint. And Fame Lady Squad, GameStop Marketplace, Game of Thrones, and then we have Batum Bomb Squad, Jeevils, and Hate Prime. So
Yeah,
it's a
and I think
solid foundation.
For the update, maybe we would expand to include 888 Inner Circle.
Like it.
Maybe Cock Punch would go on there. What was the other one that we said would go on if we expanded it?
Is it that bad off? Oh,
I don't think it's that bad yet, but like a lot of people are hating. But what was the other one that we said we'd add in if we expanded it? I don't even remember. We were talking about it.
Oh, Porsche.
Yeah, so maybe we add in Porsche. Maybe we add in 888 Inner Circle. Maybe Cock Punch. I don't know. I don't know that Cock Punch is a face plant just yet, but we'll see.
Well, we're giving my man, God,
T Ferris.
Yeah, my man Tim Ferriss a little bit of leash here. So Tim, hurry up and build some shit. All right, we got Dev. Can the devs do something? All right, guys, we are smack in the middle of the episode. Basically, we're an hour in. Not even out of quick hits, not even into the NFTGo Bag Check. We are going to touch on anything by Pack. That's a good one, Sarah. But yeah, we are going to move out of quick hits into NFTGo Bag Check, and then we do have to hit heavy metal. If you could leave a like there right at the bottom, like Gift Ed's pointing down to, that would help us out. If you're watching us on Twitter, please leave a like there, or a retweet, or a comment, or do whatever the heck you want to do. Twitch, we see you guys as well. And if you're listening afterwards on Spotify, we love you guys. All right, we are still in quick hits. This is a sad one. For all of the hype that the metaverse has gotten in the past 3, 4, 5 years, the major like base fundamentals, base features of a metaverse, and just the right, I don't want to say right type of people, but actually people that are interested in the metaverse, Voxels and Crypto Voxels have been it. Like that was the original kind of one hype cycle about the land there. So Decentraland and Crypto Voxels were definitely two of the most native Web3 companies and platforms that were launching a quote-unquote metaverse that did extremely well. Well, today we get a piece of good news. They're apparently launching an initial VR support, but that also comes with the negative news that Ben Nolan is stepping down as CEO. So Ben has been the leader of Voxels for a long time, since their inception and creation, and now he, I guess, is moving to a more developer, development or product mode, and he's getting away from that CEO role. So he's still going to be part of the company, still working, but gonna hand the reins off as far as it comes to CEO. Listen, I've had Ben on the channel. I think a lot about, and I think when I say I think a lot, I think highly of Crypto Voxels and what happens there still daily. They still have events that have been going on for the last three or 4 years, and they have been slow to develop. At the end of the day, they have in a very, I give MetaMask a lot of shit. It doesn't look that different from when I got in there. Well, Voxels doesn't look that different, and I know that has been something that has plagued them. I know land sales, I know they have to make money, but they have expanded the world, and the initial community members weren't as happy with what that did to the price of their plots and all this stuff. But that it's tough to see Ben go, but I think to Asmodai's point in chat, positive news about a CEO. He's going back to making more of his voxel dream features. So I think this is good news. Ben has been great with getting it off the ground, but I think handing it off to a more experienced CEO is the right thing to do. Any takes?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the sentiment that I think Voxels is overall a good force. As far as metaverses go, they, I think, are creating cool from a good place, trying to create awesome experiences and move forward in the best ways that they can with a truly decentralized approach to creating what the metaverse can and should be. It is slow to develop these things when you don't have massive resources and teams. What you said about the supply and like how that impacts the price, that's one of the biggest challenges with doing these whole land sale types of things. It's like, in theory, a digital world is endless, but like scarcity drives value. So like, you got to figure that out, and that's a tough one. I do think that it could be potentially a big win. Being a CEO is very, very different from being a dev or a creator. These are very different roles, and not everybody's suited for different things. Like being CEO is very administrative and it's very leadership driven. It's like the vision is important, but if you can't wrangle people and get them to march and then administrate around that and like handle a bunch of shit that is not fun, like CEO is not necessarily the best role for people. And if this guy is more of like a dev and that's where his big brain, like his skill set really shines, like, dude, that's a great move. Then keep him on board, let him go do what he does best, and find someone who's a more of an administrative leader. So, yeah.
No, I think that's where it is. I look at a company like Pixelcraft Studios with Avagachi, and they are doing a fantastic job, and a fantastic job of shipping product. And I think they're right on the cusp. They're going to do a lot of cool shit.
BitPixie for CEO. You know what? I'll get behind that. I don't know shit about who else they're going for CEO, but I love BitPixie and she's talented. She's a talented builder.
Okay. All right. Other quick hits. I'll try to make them quick. GIF. I think you've touched on this before, but I just wanted to mention it on NFT Live. Somebody just sent a CryptoPunk to like a black hole, basically. They essentially tried to wrap a CryptoPunk and they sent it to a burn wallet, and now it's gone forever. This was a 1/3, I believe, of the guy's total net worth. He's also saying, Yuga Labs, please sell me the version 1 Punk 685 as a consolation, because that's what we do in this space. We have great rails to save people from a support system standpoint here. I wouldn't expect them to do that, but yeah, that sucks. It leads me to that mass adoption point. We're nowhere fucking near. We're nowhere near. And some of it's a feature, not a bug.
It is a feature, not a bug. It's the beauty of the space is that you have autonomy to, simultaneously create generational wealth and lose generational wealth on your own accord. It's your own agency, man. You should have double, triple, quadruple checked it or had somebody do it for you who knew what they were doing. And that's not really a nice thing to say per se. It is, again, part of the beauty of living in a self-sovereign world that is fully decentralized right now. So can we do better? Can we build better safeguards? I'm sure we can. But also, like, man, this is just a Darwin Award. It's just like, bro, it sucks. But what are you gonna do, bro? Like you just burned your punk, bro. Like
in a very Wild West analogy that we love to use, like the only rule is to survive. Like you just like lost half of your resources, basically. Like,
I love the you're out there in the middle of the Wild West hanging on, you've been building out, you're in camp, trying to resource different things, and then you leave something out overnight or you don't pay attention and you lose half of your resources. They're gone and you're just stuck out there in the middle. What do you do then? Yeah, the Wild West analogy is great. What I love is as a thought experiment and a question for the chat, because I asked you this, Q, is what do you do? You're in this guy's shoes, poor Brandon. You're sitting there. You hit transact. You think you're doing the right thing. You're following the instructions. You hit go, and then a moment later, you realize you just burned a CryptoPunk. What do you do? Let me know in the chat what your next steps are. How do you handle the next 24 to 48 hours, and what goes through your mind? I'm genuinely curious what you would do.
I feel like you didn't take the answer that I gave you like 2 days ago as seriously as I have probably felt it.
I did.
I did. That round trip effect of like being in crypto and like in 2 cycles having like a lot and then not a lot is obviously a slower burn than like, oh my God, I lost it all at once. But it still has a mental effect that you have to figure out if you're going to be in this space long term. All right. Marty McFly, of course, is saying he was an ape holder. How ironic. So, yeah, shout out to Marty. Right. Always bringing it home.
Jeez. Well, no, but what you did say in response to was that you basically would just like close the laptop, shut off your computer, just walk away, just leave the space, take whatever remaining resources you had to go on vacation, do what Biggie Poppins is doing right now. Just go live your best life and forget about everything else as much as you can for a little bit. Because I don't know what else I would do.
Yeah, and then what's his intention, right? Because if his intention is like very trader specific and like upping his wealth, right? Because he mentioned it's a third of his net worth, although it's in a CryptoPunk, so he's not like, I'm making a lot of assumptions now. But if he's a guy that's like actively trading this stuff, trying to make it back, that's where you get really screwed. You ever been in a casino and now you're down 500 and you're chasing?
That's why you gotta walk away, bro.
That's when you have to.
You got to take a break. Otherwise, if you start FOMOing in, and I've done this, like when I felt like things were down or like the market was shit and I wasn't doing well, I've already done this myself. Not even just in like casinos on small levels. Like I've never been like a really addictive gambler. I've obviously had my, fair share of fun gambling trips to casinos and shit like that. And I've done it on a small scale where it's like, okay, I'm down a couple hundred. I'll put another couple hundred in and just see, maybe I can make it back. But with NFTs, it's more money, and you're not thinking about it that way because you're just like, oh, it's just 0.1, 0.2, it's just 0.5 ETH. It's just 1 ETH. So it's like you're not even like conceptualizing properly the amount of value that you're just like aping into fucking JPEGs and just like ridiculous shit that like, oh, somebody told me in a Discord that this thing was next. This is it. Yo, look at the volume. Holy shit, it's selling out quick. You better fucking go quick. And dude, so I've done that quite a few times over the last couple of years. And so, man, that feeling of like the sort of addictive, like lizard brain, whatever that is, that makes you just be like, oh, well, there's the next one. I can get the next one. If I can just be a little bit faster or a little bit quicker, or if I just get the right rarity on this one, it's like, take a break. If you ever start getting in that motion,
Hash is really doing this. She's giving the alpha per usual. The burned CryptoPunk was eventually resurrected as a Bitcoin ordinal. So that's interesting. That's an interesting development. The Bitcoin stuff is interesting to me because it feels so off chain, if that makes sense. Like the contracts feel off chain, where it's like, okay, I burned this, so now I can create it into a Bitcoin. Like there's no bridge.
What contract?
I mean? It's a social at that point, it's a fucking social contract. Like the dude didn't send it to some type of bridge to be sent to the Bitcoin blockchain. He literally burned it on accident and is now resurrecting. Like that term "resurrected" is not even like a term that makes sense in a blockchain aspect. You know what I mean? So it just feels like a lot of social contracts are happening on Bitcoin. A lot of OT putting out marketplaces and stuff, but it's all like, it's very off chain, but also on the most secure blockchain. It's weird.
I like using OTC now. Like in my head, I know it means over the table or whatever. Over the counter. Sorry, but like I like thinking of it off the chain now. Like, so OTC transactions are basically off the chain. There you go. There's a mnemonic. Is that a mnemonic device? Is that what that's called? Helps you remember what it is.
There you go. You got it. You use acronyms. You got a little mnemonic device there. I appreciate it. Okay, something that is going to help in the future, and I did comment on this on Twitter. I saw you liked the tweet GIF. I'm not going to spend too much time.
I like everything you
but,
tweet.
But Don R brought up EIP 4337 versus native account abstraction. I'm not going to get in the weeds here, but essentially what they're doing is having multiple layers of what you would use essentially as your MetaMask wallet today. So we don't normally interact with our wallet like this, but in the future there's going to be an ability to tie multiple wallets with different layers of security back to your hardware wallet. And this goes with, like, I think they mentioned like biometric security. There's, imagine you having your hardware wallet that's secured by a seek phrase, but the third layer of the wallet can be signed in with an email and password. Like, this is the level of ability that's going to, be available to us here in the very, I think, short term, like a year, maybe even less. Like these are
I think
all.
it's sooner than that because we've already got things like warm wallets and shit like that. To me, it's about the integration, the UI, and the adoption. That's what I don't know. Like, because the tech is probably already here. You know what I mean? It's probably really close, at least if it's not.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna read here from the thread as well. I would probably agree with some of that, GIF. What is account abstraction? AA allows for development of smart contract accounts, enabling smoother onboarding, improved UX, and greater security due to full flexibility when developing any type of logic. So again, I think trying to use trying to bring in how we use our hardware wallets today, it's very clunky, right? Like if you want to perform any interaction usually with something like a Bored Ape website, something with like a Dookie Dash involvement, you're having to either not be secure with and use just a hot wallet, but also that hot wallet has features that are not suggestible probably for mass adoption, things like username and passwords and all this stuff. But the ability to not have to sign things with your ledger, for example, when you're interacting with these websites is something that we're going to be able to do in the very near future and still have that security. Because that's the issue now, right? If you set up these other types of wallets today, they're hot wallets. They're connected with they're connected to the internet essentially and not secured by a seed phrase. Then you're putting yourself out for a lot of people to do nefarious things and you to fuck up and all this stuff. So I'm super interested in this technology, the ability to have layers of wallets where one might be easily accessible even up to the tune of a username and password, and it track back to your original hardware wallet.
yeah, man, well said. And Quantum Variant over here saying ERC 4337 and ETH is only about 20% ready right now. Quantum Variant, when are you going to come on and school us on these new contract upgrades? That's what I want to know. These new token standards that are all being developed. Big brain that you are. Marty McFly is saying, I think ordinals is weak. And I've kind of felt the same way. I do like that, it can be used as like its own use case of being sort of like the super high end version or like the museum, quality, super special pieces. That's kind of what Oni Force is doing with their characters, or Frank the Gods, what they're doing with like some of their Gods. They're just like making a very special, smaller collection over there that they're treating as like, these are the holy grails. Like, I like that it kind of has its own use case a little bit and its place in the sort of value hierarchy. But yeah, right now, like, I think the way that it's been done is I currently still don't own a single ordinal. So that's where I'm at. Like, I've been very much slow playing it, watching how it plays out, because the way that people were valuing it seemed very sketchy to me. The OTC part of it without any of the support seems very sketchy to me. And what we should check in on, since we are going to be talking about heavy metal too, we should check in on 12-fold and just see like how's that going?
Yeah, again, like a lot of these rails for even the data analytics or at least visualizing that data aren't set up. So we would have to like know exactly where to go. So I can look.
It's just early. It's we're early on everything here, but ordinals, it's very early.
It might be
and that, again, that can be where there's a lot of opportunity. Cool. Of course, you can be cool, you can be awesome, you can be at the leading edge and be innovative by getting in on the new tech. You can also lose your ass by speculating on something that nobody understands. So
what was the original average price? I think
it was like, I think over 2 BTC, wasn't it?
I think it was, but the floor price looks like it's 2.55. So I think they might be doing okay. And literally only one or two listed at that floor. So
all right, so that's all right. So it's holding a floor right now, but the question is there any liquidity there? Have there been a bunch of sales, or is it literally just nobody's going to be able to ever get out of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a cool follow up. That's a cool follow up. Hey, we were just on the Bitcoin marketplace for Magic Eden. I've got like 3 quick hits for marketplaces. I said quick, but we're like doing our longest quick hit of all time. I want to quickly go through 3 marketplace news. Magic Eden is launching on Ethereum. I've got my takes on this. So they said the Ethereum Genesis marketplace is almost here, and to celebrate, we're launching with over 10 collections that will release throughout the month of April. We also have a project called Mintify that's launching that is more heavily trader focused. Again, it's not the best news for those of us that are collectors, right? But you can see getting into their interface, it looks more like a terminal that some people would be used to. So let me see if I can find. So that wasn't the best. Maybe we can come back on the other side of this. Let's see.
I kind of hate the name. I don't know, Mintify.
Yeah, Mintify.
Mintify
So, yeah.
literally sounds like I'm not trying to FUD it. Really, I guess I am kind of fudding it. Like Mintify, just based on the name and the look of that, looks like something that's here today, gone tomorrow to me. This already feels to me like something that it'll pop off, get a little bit of attention when it's brand new, and then I feel like in 6 months nobody's gonna like even remember what it is. That's literally the harshest initial take I've ever had on anything. Yeah. But like,
it's gonna be dead.
Dude, the name, I don't know. Look, maybe maybe if they take this like OG trader, approach to it, they can get some new interest from those types of people. You.
Yeah, when I saw the initial release across my timeline, this is basically what I wanted to highlight. Right? It's like this idea that Blur is facilitating towards more the trader folk. I think is kind of the take that I've made multiple times, and you can see that this looks even more like a terminal. Like this looks even more like a
Bloomberg
trading, Bloomberg terminal essentially. So I don't see again the order book on both sides. You don't have that, but you have top holders, top trending. You have the price charts. It looks a little bit like Blur, like to be honest, and it looks like there's an aggregation feature here as well. You can see OpenSea trades, Blur trades. They said starting today, you can use our modular trading terminal to explore and trade all ETH and Polygon-based collections. There will be free and a pro version starting June 1st. So wanted to get that. So I've got Magic Eden. I've got Mintify. Maybe we can watch that video, maybe not. And then Blur finally coming through and saying they're extending their 2x points until May 1st. So more incentives to trade on Blur. Think it's negative or not. This is the piece that they essentially released overnight, maybe in the last 2 days. So they are going to continuously increase this. And again, the airdrop actually is here till 27 up to now. And then Art Blocks Marketplace. Yes, we'll have to touch on that. So I know I threw a lot at you.
We did hit on it. We did hit on Art Blocks Marketplace already. We've been talking about it. But I think the greater point that's being made right now is that we're seeing a whole bunch of new marketplaces all pop up. So I think this is probably in response to a lot of the shakeup from Blur and all the creator royalty conversation. So a bunch of people have probably been working on their new marketplaces for the last 6 months, and now you're starting to see a bunch of them pop up. I'm most excited about Art Blocks, but Escher I hadn't heard of, and if that's a more creator friendly marketplace, then I'll definitely check it out. It's going to be interesting, man. I think it's to your point though, Q. It's going to be very hard to really compete with OpenSea and Blur right now.
Yeah, and we'll touch on that. So this is the tweet from Escher, so I'll read that off here. Let me make sure I've got that. Escher is officially live. Collectors, you can start exploring our curated marketplace and browse, buy, and sell the edition shaping the digital art movement. Artists with showrooms are cordially invited to connect and start customizing your collector's experience. Let me get to another shared page here for this Escher. So I appreciate you bringing this to us, Squash. Look, Magic Eden as well. Like if you're launching on Bitcoin, I think that's a cool move. Polygon, cool move. Like there seems to be space for competition there. I don't think Magic Eden. I don't know what they're doing with their Ethereum marketplace. To be honest, man. Like and when I say I don't know what they're doing, I don't think they should be doing it.
I think it's a matter of their survival to do it, because Solana NFT art is not where it's at, and Bitcoin is not where it's at yet, and whatever else. So to me, it's like you're saying they shouldn't. It's like, what else should they do? If you know
Build
what I
on
mean? It's
other
like,
chains. Build on other chains. Go to Arbitrum.
okay,
Go to
yeah,
Arbitrum.
okay, that's fair. Like, not trying to compete with everybody else. That's a fair point. I think they're probably going to keep adding more chains, and maybe that's a big move and a big strategy and a smart way to go. What's interesting to me about it is maybe the Solana community over there starts to get more interested in ETH projects. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about like the ashes or the rubble that's left behind after this move. Not Solana, do not come and attack me for saying rubble there, please. I'm trying to make an analogy, but there is some stuff to be picked up here after the moves of DeGods and Utes from Solana. Like, what
Looks
happens with that chain?
Looks like just below 12,000 of the Utes have moved so far. So 11,700 is what I'm seeing on OpenSea right now. So again, that's the majority of them. It seems like it's been pretty successful. This is just a quick check-in on the migration of Utes from Solana to Polygon. 545 ETH on secondary volume so far. It's a good amount of volume, and the floor is holding around 1.7. And that again should be entirely organic with no like wash, or I don't know about wash trading, but not a lot of like other incentives or things other than the small incentive of no marketplace fees on Magic Eden for now. So I guess that is a small incentive, but no blur action at least should be included in this.
So I've got Crypto Slam pulled up, GIF. The Solana portion, sales volume 91 million. Interestingly, like in the past, I would say month, like we've seen some action, right? Like on this date, there was like 2.6 mil. It looks like buyers and sellers were high on that day as well. 16,000, 12,000 sellers, but like no crazy action upwards. But this is what I was going to try to watch was like, hey, where does the buying and selling go now that the biggest two projects on Solana are leaving? So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Like their place on this leaderboard here, if I go back to the main page, has always been, I think, second or third. So who's stepping up here? We still see DeGods is trading and giving them a ton of volume. What's the next biggest Solana project? OK Bears. That's what we brought up the other day. Does OK Bears really, has OK Bears been pumping from this? Like, do they have a floor price chart here? Doesn't look like it.
I mean, you can look at it on Magic Eden.
Yeah, I could. I can't just have one thing in one fucking place, man. I got to go to these 15 different places to find all this different data.
The best place for most things is NFTGo, but not for Solana yet.
Okay, we touched on Magic Eden. We hit on Mintify. I am interested. Like, I'll be following Mintify. I'll bring it up here in the coming days. Again, Polygon support. Again, the tweets being, we are betting big on Web3. Here's why you need to know. Here's what you need to know about the next 6 months and everything we are building at Mintify. Airdrops, Future One, leaderboards. Much again. This feels like it feels like a trader's marketplace, right? Like this is, which is cool to see, GIF, right? Because we see at the same time Art Blocks coming out and saying we're building a collector's marketplace. We're building a creator's marketplace. So any last thoughts here on Art Blocks NFT Marketplace to round out quick hits? Art Blocks, let's see.
No, I think that this is a win-win scenario for collectors, traders, and artists. If you do feel like, supporting artists is important, then you also avoid marketplace fees and can still support the artists here. And I hope it does well. You know what I mean? That's it. There's an interesting question over here from Jack's Hideaway saying there's a rumor of Polygon sweeping the Utes floor. Is there any evidence of that? We'd have to do some forensics. I am just going.
What else can they do? They gave him $3 million already.
I know. I'm just going. Well, they're to that point though, Q. They're very invested in the success of this. If they've already given them 3 mil, so why not do some sweeping while you're at it? If they got the bags, I am just going and looking at the activity, and if I share my screen here, you can see there. It does look like there's some wash trading, maybe. So I just literally scrolled down the activity to 4 hours ago. You can see this wallet exchanging with the same wallet over here.
Well, no, those are just as long as that AFA,
It
isn't
could be
selling back.
But when you see, yeah, that's fair. But when you see the same wallet selling to the same wallet multiple different times, these are things, and they're all anonymous wallets too. Like there's like, this wallet is here a lot.
It looks like they're a big holder, but yeah,
it could just be a big holder, but also like, look at that. I mean, again, it's like so you can't make any immediate. You have to do further forensics to really understand. But like, this is one wallet buying a whole bunch of them from some of the like same wallets, right? Like, look at this, all the same wallet to the same wallet. Like that looks pretty sketchy, but you don't know for sure until you dig deeper into the data.
All right, I was potentially looking up here the Art Blocks announcement, right? Like I was hoping there would be cool visuals that went along with this, but we do have some visuals from Art Blocks on the Kim Asendorf drop. So I'm going to spend 1 minute here showing this off because we didn't get to show it yesterday. I'm going to let us watch this for about the next minute because I think it's going to be dope. Let's see what we got. Okay, so it looks like it was just a really cool visual to show off.
Can we go to his Twitter real quick and just maybe pick one or two? Because that's like a monochromatic version, and a lot of them have really cool colors, even gradients. And yeah, it's like you start to understand just by looking at that simple one, like how he uses pixels and pixel sorting to create these incredible algorithms and shit. But dude, like, a lot of them are truly mesmerizing, and yeah, when you put them to different music too, and they move in all these different unpredictable ways, they're pretty fucking awesome, dude. And again, what they started to say there at the end of it was that this is like the perfect continuation of his studies in doing this stuff. It's like there's a very clear path that this guy's been working through that's really fucking cool, and it starts with like the mono grids and shit like that, man. It's just really fucking dope, dude. And again, it's like, it's not for everybody, but I think more and more people are starting to come to appreciate that this is all code. You know what I mean? It's like, this is on-chain code that is just running endlessly in unexpected patterns that this guy's like created all these different pieces of art. And so there's this new understanding and appreciation of how the technology and the art is coming together, and the code and the poetry and the creativity that it takes to actually create visuals with code like this. Yeah, man, I don't know, dude. I fucking love this shit.
Yeah, I'm looking at the announcement here to try to pull any quotes from the team. Again, Art Blocks takes no platform fee for secondary trades that occur via its marketplace, and artist-owned specified creator royalty settings are fully honored. That's a distinct difference from Ethereum NFT marketplaces like Blur and OpenSea. Obviously going to 0%, making them optional for traders above nominal 0.5 minimums. A royalty is a percentage of the secondary sales paid out to original creator. Snowfro, founder and CEO of Art Blocks and creator of its Chromie Squiggle collection, has been outspoken about the needs for creator royalties in the NFT world. We are here to support the artists and the artist practices. How many artists had quit their jobs full-time, artists, because they were just thrilled with the idea of getting to pursue this? So good response, man. This is a good free market response to what is happening with Blur and OpenSea. Someone's going to create a marketplace that is specifically creator royalty focused and creator focused, and this is what we have. So I would love to follow anybody or talk with anybody that is specifically related to this marketplace. I want to hear everything that's going on with this. I wish them nothing but the best. I would love to have Snowfro on the show, but again, I think Biggie said he talked with him and Marfa and a couple other things. But this is dope. This is just awesome to see, man. Like that's what was needed at the end of the day. Like this was a glaring hole that needed to be filled.
Yeah, I'm super bullish on Art Blocks, man. Just in general, I'm very impressed with what they've done in the last 2 years. And apparently, we were reading this morning about the marketplace, almost $1.5 billion in secondary value, secondary volume alone in just the last like year and a half, however long, 2 years, if even 2 years that they've been a thing. Art Blocks has generated almost $1.5 billion in secondary volume. That's a lot of royalties for artists, for these artists on their platform, man. Again, that's not even including the primary sales. So
Agreed.
Yeah, it's like, again, it's like people who toss royalties aside and don't understand how important it is to the artists who are trying to make a living and make this and pursue their passions and like build and be self-sovereign and all those things. They don't actually get that it's a key building block to building a sustainable life as an artist while you're alive, and then maybe even passing some of that on to your family.
State. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
After
and so, anyway, I'm very bullish on Art Blocks. If anybody out there is listening or knows somebody from Art Blocks, we'd love to have you on the show. Snowfro, where you at? Love to have you, man. Eric Calderon, I think is his real name. Yeah. Shout out to him, man. I think he's killing it. While we're on this real quick, smash the like, friends. Go ahead and do it. If you haven't already, it really makes a difference. You know how the algorithms work on YouTube, all that type of stuff, getting this out to more people. If it doesn't cost you a thing, but it really, really means a lot to us. So please smash the like if you haven't already. Let's heck it go.
You're great at that, GIF. Jax Hideaway listen, Gabe's quote to start about teaching a man fish, eat, please, for forever. Was a great comment, but this might take the cake. Art Blocks has stayed true to mission since their origin so long ago now. I would love to highlight, maybe not today because we do have to get to HV-MTL and the NFTGo Bag Check before we head out of here, but I would love to highlight other companies that have done the same, because OpenSea is a clear example of a company that did not stand on its two legs, draw a line in the sand, and say, this is who we are. They kind of were reactive to a major competitor, their first major competitor, and they completely lost that battle in both battles, one to Blur and the other for their reputation in the community. I would love to highlight other companies that have from the very beginning. Coinbase is probably one. Brian Armstrong has done a great job since then. I know that they've been in exchange. They've had some KYC stuff. I would love to, break that out. But I think Coinbase is a great actor. Art Blocks is a great one. So
this could be a great segment. I don't know if it'd be like a rate my bags, but maybe we do a new segment where we're just like highlighting good actors. Let us know if you got an idea for a cool name for a new segment on the show where we just like do a quick featurette, a highlight of like, it's like the opposite of, what really grinds my gears. It's like, you know what I really appreciate about Web3, this person or this company. Maybe we have some kind of nice positivity, moment where we highlight the people that are doing the good work. Cause I like this as an idea.
Yeah, no, fantastic comment. We should I'm thinking right through my brain right now what we should call it. It would be like, we're actually all going to make it with the people that we know are doing it well.
So it's wag.
Yeah, it's like a full wag me. Okay, here we go. NFTGo Bag Check. We do have some special announcements. Obviously, we made it, but we definitely want to get deep into our partnership here and our sponsorship with the NFTGo team and everything they're building out. But we do have the NFTGo Bag Check that we have to get to. The barometer, the market sentiment that tracks GiftEd's tweets has gone up to 27, which is nice to see. I think it's been ranging around this for a little while. We're definitely still in major losses. I hate to even just continue to comment on that. We're kind of holding over the last 2 days in ETH. USD, I believe we're up. So a nice little 2-day blip here on the blue chip index. If we zoom out to 30 days, we're still at a little bit of a low over the last month. ETH, I think we're still doing that as well. Market cap and volume has been pretty volatile here in the last 7 days against ETH as well as USD. If you zoom out, we're again not doing that well over the last 30 days, especially against ETH. Category and market cap, collection and distribution we'll focus on here over the last 24 hours. Other deeds are taking the cake, obviously, with the Legends of Mara. Heavy Metal doing 10%. Wrapped CryptoPunks, Nakamigos, Mutant Apes, Bored Apes, Azuki, the Captains, Kennel Club, and Beans jumping into the top 10. And then over the last 7 days, what stands out here? Probably Moonbirds. Moonbirds and the Captains making a legitimate entrance into the top 10 there as well. So that's what we have on the collections front. We can try the marketplace front and see what we got. Over the last 7 days, of course, Blur going to take up a majority of that volume. X2Y2 showing up there, but let's see what happens. See how? Yep. Okay. Bye. All right, so traders
that wash trading filter doing work.
Absolutely, just destroying any credibility for X2Y2 there. Can we talk to someone from X2Y2 and be like, what's your plan? you're like,
can we also, while we're at it, can we bring someone on from Shapeshift? Oh man,
yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Well, we talked to the guys at Shapeshift too. All right, this is actually super healthy. If you're looking at like a reason why Blur might not have a majority of market share once the bull market returns, is that OpenSea still has a large amount of the traders and that activity on the platform. You see that Blur has a ton of volume, but primarily, again, that is happening from high net worth, small groups of individuals that are really getting after it on the volume front. So if you want to take the other side of the Blur argument, OpenSea does still have a majority of traders and activity there. So that was the NFTGo Bag Check. All right, Heavy Metal Bag Check. We are an hour and 45 minutes into the episode. It is the last episode.
Let's just look at the art, bro. Just pull up the art.
Ooh, is it for the art?
It's price? For the art, bro. Let's just scroll through this. Bro. It's another badass freaking website with more lore, more details, explaining what's going on, giving you some awesome highlights or examples of what these different evolutions are going to look like.
Marty's here for this as well too. Marty's asking who's buying a DeGod when they bridge? Anyone? Gifted, I have this question to ask. I have the art here. I love, the visuals here. Is the last 5 days or the last, I would say 7, let's just say a week, right? Was this period of 7 days the biggest release that we've seen from one ecosystem all at once? Like, was this the biggest week? That's basically what the thumbnail says, right? Like, or the episode says, is this the biggest NFT release that we've ever seen? I know that it's going under the radar. We're in a bear market, but to me, the other side, the Legends of Mara and Heavy Metal, all in the span of 5 days, is fucking wild.
And honestly, Dookie Dash and all that, and the trip, the toad, the tripping, licking the toad, all that was only a couple weeks ago. So yeah, man, I think in my opinion, the only thing you can really compare it to is some of the other big blitzes that Bored Ape Yacht Club has done, like around the other, like when the other deeds dropped. I think there was a couple different things, but like even that doesn't feel like they had so many different like beats. Because also throw into this the Gucci announcements and partnerships too. Those are big stories too, bro. So to me, it feels like the way that they have coordinated, and again, the word that keeps coming to mind with what they're doing is execution. The way that they are executing narrative, transmedia storytelling across all these different facets of the business, all these different parts from the other side build out to the gaming, to the gamified mint, to the ape coin and the stake. It's like all these different parts that they're somehow stringing you into this. And then they got 10KTF that they released the cinematic trailers where they're in the other side. It's like,
well, they bought 10KTF. That's still. I agree with you, but I will say that's still 10KTF though. You know what I mean? Like I know it's
right.
part of the ecosystem, but that's their
dude,
team.
The way that they're sewing all this together into a bigger, bolder vision and a bigger transmedia narrative, it's one big world and one big story. And we're just living in it, man. And I'm fucking loving it because the quality remains really high. And again, we got to pull up this art because, again, when you look at the art and you see there's all these different iterations of these new fucking creatures, man, like you're just like, oh shit, these things are fucking sick.
We just got the Legends of Mara drop. Like we're still like recovering from that announcement and those leaks on the Kodamaras, the Maras, the vessels, all of this stuff. And then they hit us with heavy metal like 48 hours later. To wrap up what Gif was just saying, because I definitely want to dive into heavy metal. I'm legitimately interested. What's the next closest, other than something that came from Yuga? I think that was what you had said, Gif. Like, what's the next closest, like, release week, or like number of releases, or just the amount that they put out in the last 7 days is wild to me. I would love to know like what the next closest would be.
I don't know what the next closest is, but I don't think there's anything that compares to what they've done because nobody can really compete on this level. Not even an Artifact or a Nike has had this kind of back-to-back, big announcements, drops, rollouts, etc. Like you have to have a tremendous amount of resources and skill and experience and vision to do what they're doing right now. This is very hard to achieve, all of this.
So we're just looking at the heavy metal website right now. Marty McFly saying, I'm glad that Yuga is making everything so simple. Kiss your life goodbye if you want to compete. That is legitimately my question though, in like the most unironic way I could ever ask. Like, what is the next closest release week? That just give me that answer. I'm not even saying it like to be an asshole. I just wanted to know what are some of the other closest weeks we've had, because this has just been a wild release week for these guys to have all three of those.
Dude, look at these. Hold on, let's pause on these, bro. Look at that Reaver over on with like some crazy, demented peacock thing in the back with like guns and shit. Dude, they have like weapons on them too. Bro, dude, that bio one is actually really sick. Like I have 2 bios and like that one's actually really cool.
So it looks like there's a blueprint here. So I think this is like the again, like another ode to the roadmap that we showed earlier on the let me make sure I get this right. So this is kind of the blueprint for what you're seeing here on the main roadmap website. If you go, So here's the blueprint. It says, undisturbed for centuries, heavy metal have been summoned abruptly through a rift in space-time, and if they knew how much it had to do with Jimmy's atomic shit, they'd be impressed. Gary is convinced there's a cosmic battle on the horizon and needs every heavy, pronounced heavy, to evolve into its final form before it's too late. But are the heavies new friends, or is there a reason to be wary? So right now we see the box, the Lick the Toad. I believe this is where we're at right now, and you can see the mech suits, essentially the mecha suits that we're all kind of figuring out. And then there was another of the images that were on the box of the apes fighting some type of force. So we'll see. What else you got here? Your Heavy's future depends on you. There was these other evolutions GIF as well. Dynamic NFT that evolves based on your decisions, so don't fuck this up. There are 8 different Heavy types and countless different trait combinations. Each has its own skills, personalities, and roles, but they're all designed to transform. So it looks like there's 8, again, different type of Heavy types, but they evolve differently. These look like trading cards at this point, which is pretty dope. I'm getting, again, Illuvium, hurry up. You're getting, don't get displaced here. Yeah, these look like like when you think about evolutions, when you think about base layer that could be evolved, you're thinking definitely Pokemon.
This is the Pokemon moment for the Bored Ape ecosystem. And I think what's really interesting, yeah, dude, the Celestials and the Reavers are fucking
oh my god,
sick. Like the Hollows are cool. Like don't get me wrong, the Hollows are cool, but I think the Celestials and the Reavers are like the 2 dopest. Those are the 2 I have. So I got 2 bios one night. I think they're both pretty sick, so I'm excited. But yeah, what I started to think about as I was like just sort of in awe as they rolled this out yesterday of like how much they are adding all at once and how awesome the quality is, and thinking about, you know, our NFTGo bag checks and how consistently they are in the top 10, like top 5.
Oh, this is sick.
Dude, just taking up all of them. Yeah, look at that Pokemon layout right there. Look at the EV evolution trees. What I started thinking was like literally what Yuga is doing. This is a common brand product strategy where it's basically you create all of these different products within your larger product line to literally take up as much shelf space as you can. Because within like a traditional shelf, like if you think about like, yes, in the digital world and the blockchain and, you know, all of this in these digital store aisles, you know, when you look at OpenSea, when you look at any of these digital marketplaces, theoretically, yes, the shelf space is infinite. However, those front pages, those prime locations are still very finite. That top 10 list of what's getting all the volume and getting all the attention is still very finite. And so what's really interesting to me from, again, like a product strategy perspective and what they're doing and dominating this market is that they're literally horizontally integrating now. Like they've been vertically integrated. Now they're horizontally integrating and building
within
out the whole
ecosystem?
Dude, the whole shelf. Yeah. They're filling up the whole shelf. So we're literally going to be at a point where some of the days on NFTGo, every single project in the top 10 is a Yuga project.
I have to calm us down from just like what sounds like we're simping at this point.
But I am right now. I am full on simping, but it's also just it's facts. Like it's really facts, bro. Like
if you add 10 KTF into this, this gets, first of all, we're heavily, and I say that, you know, as punny as possible, we're heavily into the chasm. We're at the point now where Bored Apes need your own sources within that ecosystem to even keep up, as you would probably in like an Aavegotchi. To your point, like it's tough to keep up. You need to be able to follow like a Bored Ape Gazette, like its own native thing. You can't just count on these large media companies to cover, unless there's a dedicated show. You cannot cover the whole thing now. We're that far into the complexity chasm.
I think the smart move for us, Q, actually would be to create a new show called the Yuga Show, and do it as its own separate segment, where we're doing deeper dives into all this shit to stay up on it. I really think that we should do that, because the Yuga Show, like it already, we already have the chime, the jangle. But you know who's definitely fallen into the chasm of the heavies over here is Marty McFly, and it's inducing wood. Yo, the heavies joke is hilarious. So Jesus Christ. Shout out Shout out Andrew Schultz for that one. But yeah, Yuga boners all around, I suppose. All right.
Trying to figure out the exact details here, right? In Heavy Metal Forge, which you can see maybe a visual of that. This is my thing. With the crossover, we talked about Legends of Mara potentially being that farming simulator. Well, that's what you see here. Like, this is like the Farmville-esque simulator. This says, in Heavy Metal Forge, build and customize a workshop that prepares your heavies for their evolution. So show off your creations to climb the leaderboard and unlock special abilities. Take risk and face the dangers of the rift to discover blueprints, gather materials, and craft upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, we all love it when those heavies evolve. That's for sure.
Here we go. Hey, we did the birds yesterday. We're not doing boners today.
We're talking about the heavy metals, bro. It's just the heavies, bro. That's all we're talking about here. Come on. What did you think we're talking about?
Here's my thing. A Quantum Variant saying doing a Yuga show would be great for search on YouTube. Here's the deal, though. When you go that specific, when you branch off into a show, like, we'll have to then dedicate a majority, of not a majority, but a strong portion of our time to making sure that we know every single thing, because you know what I mean?
You mean doing exactly what we're already doing on all of our shows, where we're just informed all the time on everything.
Yep, 100%. Hey,
I think the point is that that's how we stay up and try and pay attention and be part of this big movement, man. There's so much happening in the ecosystem. Imagine how much more this has the potential to grow. I think the point is, like, we talk about it enough at this point. Like, dude, we're over like 2 hours into this fucking show right now, and we could probably talk for another 15 minutes about it just today. I think there's enough happening within the Yuga ecosystem that we could do a Yuga show.
Okay. If we were to do a Yuga show, I'd be using Harry Liu as a source of information, because he's great at kind of picking out the pieces. He's with Animoca Brands and Forge and a lot of different things. He was just showing us the evolution piece. Tastemakers Collaborative Report from Anymo's. Again, this looks like, obviously it's not in English here, but he showed us some collection reveals, right? I showed you guys this. So this is like the evolution page. So you see the heavy metal boxes that we currently have.
Can we zoom in at all?
Yeah.
How high res is this image? Can we get closer to these?
I don't know if we can get that much closer. I might be able to try.
Let me see the tip of the mountain. Let me see these heavies up close.
Is that good enough?
Yeah. So, okay, here we go. These are the two that I'm really interested in. These are the bios and the knights there. Oh, wait. All right. You went to the super cool ones.
I got one celestial, so,
All right. Here. Yeah. Well, do you got a celestial? Fuck off. All right.
That
here we
300K
go.
run.
All right. So are those are the basic ones on the left, right? Those are like the most basic, I guess.
Yep.
And then they evolve from there. Okay. So we're scrolling through the evolution. Oh, these are sick. Okay. I mean, that super knight one is not, like, I feel like it's okay. I feel like the ones in the middle knights are the cooler ones than that. Like
this one?
All the way up. Yeah, like those two or three in the middle. But I feel like that super evolved bio one, those are pretty cool all the way at the end.
Yeah, I don't. Again, like it's almost like the last one isn't even the coolest in a lot of these collections. Like the middle one on the Reaver collection looks sick.
Yeah, they're so smart with how they do this, man. Yeah, these Reavers are gonna be next level. Can you imagine bumping into these like in the other side or like in a metaverse into a freaking Reaver?
I would love to dive into the implications of what's happening and how it all fits in together. Because to your point, we got 3 separate pieces of the story with the Other Side trip on Saturday, and we got the Legends of Mara, and we got Heavy Metal now. They all integrate together is my question. Like, what is Legends of Mara going to be associated with Heavy Metal? Are they completely separate? And I guess Harry's saying it right here. In Yuga, we trust him. Marty's like convulsing at this point in the episode. Listen, we're 2 hours in. Let's do a big breakdown on Monday as well, man. Like this is really cool stuff.
It is never fade Yuga.
Dude, we just had I mean, we talked about 12-fold, but we didn't add it in that timeline either. 12-fold was like what, 2 weeks ago?
I'm saying there's
3
a
weeks
lot.
ago?
There's a lot in the Yuga ecosystem. My one question would be, can we get away with doing a show called the Yuga Show, or are they gonna get mad?
Yeah.
Are they gonna send us a cease and desist? You know?
Yeah. I think we need another name other than that. I think that's a little tough.
Yeah. All right. Let us know. Let us know what we should name the Yuga Show, since we can't call it that without probably getting.
You can call it
a cease
Jimmy's
and
butthole,
desist.
but that might not be
Jimmy's.
that might lead to some weird Google searches.
Yo, here we go, diving deep into Jimmy's butthole. That's solid. Actually, I feel good. I could say that every day. Feel good about myself.
All right, I'm just gonna read off this because again, I'm just trying to wrap my head around a lot of this stuff. Yuga Labs just revealed Max. Yes. One thing is clear: freezing metadata is ancient, and dynamic NFTs are the future. Heavy Metal is a collection of 30,000 NFTs that started as sewer passes. Each BAYC and MOYC claimed one for free earlier, except for the fuckers that didn't somehow claim their sewer passes. What?
Oh my
idiots.
god, how are they feeling right now? Where are you at? Drop some L's in the chat for anybody who didn't claim their sewer pass or play the fucking game. Jesus.
This Yuga collection is similar to other deeds and not like BAYC is that they are dynamic. Simply, dynamic NFTs are ones that don't have their metadata frozen, meaning NFT traits and can be updated continuously. Yes. I'm really Heavy Metals, they will really push dynamic NFTs. Heavy Metal Collection has 8 types of mechs that started as power sources. Each heavy will also have 8 traits that will be dynamic. There's some other images we can get into maybe on Monday that are like the evolutions, right? Because some of it had to do with having a kennel. Having a kennel dog. Like you needed a kennel dog for the last evolution. Does that push up utility and sales on Kennel Club? That's interesting. So
Damn right.
Yeah, man. This is
Get those doggos.
I can feel myself falling like Alice in Wonderland into this complexity chasm. But the one thing that is true is, at least in my mind, that was one of the craziest sequences of releases that I've ever seen from one single project.
Yeah.
If another project launched something like the other side on Saturday, they would be good for months. They would be good for, and to be fair, Yuga was good for months. We waited like 8-9 months for the next trip, but this was just a crazy week, man. And I don't know how you can sit on the sideline anymore and say like, we're simping and all that stuff. It's like that was just wild.
It's been, you know what? We should maybe contextualize this in the NFT history books as like the week that Yuga, I don't know, destroyed everybody. Like, I don't know, just like killed it. The week that Yuga seriously separated from the pack, just like, they were up here already. It's like, whoop. All right, they're not here.
They're Yuga tier. Yeah. This is probably the best question right now. If you want to look for FUD right now, Gordon leaving, although we talked about how that, I don't want to call it a positive, but you can have some features where like the product just takes over, right? But yeah, having Gordon leave was definitely tough. If you want to throw on your tinfoil hat, I'm sure you can. But Cam Taylor saying, with so many assets in the Yuga ecosystem and them slowly transitioning from speculation storytelling to experiences for existing users and new users, how do all their assets retain value long term? That's a great question. My initial simplistic take is, even with this transition, they've offered value in tiers to those original holders. That's my very simple answer.
Well, and I think a lot of the actual utility of what they're developing and building has yet to even come to fruition. You know what I mean? The eventual goal of all of this is to be in a club and an ecosystem that offers a whole bunch of tremendous utility. It just takes time to develop a lot of that. But they've already shown examples with their Ape Fest events that have been next level. They've shown, what the other side is doing and looking like already. And then, they've shown what their merch can do. They've shown that they can integrate into high-end retail experiences like Gucci and formulate those types of partnerships. They've shown that they can drive value through staking and different I think that what they're actually building and developing is a whole suite of different utilities within a club that you can be part of and participate in at different levels. And the true bigger versions of those more integrated, more complicated, sophisticated utilities that they're developing haven't even come to fruition yet. So I think it's not easy, but I think that's the answer: is you provide actual real world utilities that people value and that are hard to create, that not everybody can have. That's the thing. It's not valuable if everybody can have it. The point of this is Bored Ape Yacht Club. It is a club where you get exclusive experiences and utilities that nobody else can have. And I don't think that they've lost that vision. I think they're just building it all out and showing also the story that you get to participate in as well, because that is also a utility. Let's be clear. Getting to be in on a journey that is also creating value along the way and help shape it by your choices. That is narrative NFT, storytelling NFTs. That's a cool thing too, that in of itself is an interesting utility and that they can do unlike anybody else. So anyway, you got your Kennel Club puppy there. I'm happy to see it. That's great. I have to shout out the chat again. Y'all been killing it this week. Thank you so much. I do love, as two good recommendations for the name of our Yuga show, Marty McFly, the Schmooga Show. All right. You know what? All right. Not too shabby, but I think that the Tilt Marty Show is better. I actually like that. So shout out Prodigy. I think we'll just call it the Tilt Marty Show and try and trigger him as much as we can.
Cam's bringing up some great points that are more not getting more objective. I think, again, in the NFT space, even a project as big as Yuga, you have to ask these questions. As holders, we need to realize profits at the right time and before the music eventually stops. What happens when the storytelling stops? We've seen projects like World of Warcraft tell their story for years and years and years, still to this day. So longevity wise, I think they can keep that up. And I'm dude, it's gonna be awesome. I do have an interesting take here, GIF. I want
to hear your interesting take, but on the storytelling side and when the music stops, how much money do they keep raising, and how much are they just making every single day through all of these assets being traded? They have a lot of money to work with.
Marty, you're objective, but you're objective in trying to prove a point that you already have in your mind. So if you go into something with a bias, it feels like you're trying to get your point proven, if that makes sense. So while I do like that take, I feel like the bias is extremely heavy, which is why I have to take the other side often. So GIF, here's the idea. You ready? Maybe we have some type of yacht talk or club talk show where we actually, instead of having to go, and again, it's tough for us to stay on the ball with something that this is deep and not have it be our only thing that we do. Why don't we just interview? Why don't we just have an interview once a week with someone with somebody in Yuga, not in Yuga, but in the yacht club. Yeah,
community.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Yacht talk isn't bad. Club talk, I don't know. I think something in that direction is cool. And I think once a week was just anybody in the Bored Ape Yuga ecosystem that wants to come chat. I think that'd be dope.
I think that is the play. So, all right, folks, you heard it here first. Now, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Shep says, have a good weekend. My Kennel Club dog here. GIF, you killed it this week, man. 2 hours and 12 minutes. We're here for you guys, and you guys have been here for us throughout that entire 2 hours. So we appreciate you so much. Our vibe, our tribe. I believe we have a speakeasy tonight, but I know that can get a little volatile as well. As volatile as some collections on Blur here. So you like that pun? No?
Yeah. It's everything's a little bit blurry when you've been live for 4.5 hours straight.
True. All right, folks. We thank you again. Our vibe, our tribe. We'll see you next week. Have yourself a good weekend.